6'6", 350-pound Josiah Thompson. And so you look at bringing in just two hog mollies that South Carolina hasn't seen size like that on the offensive line in a long time. And so I think you do that. And really what I like about our recruiting and the transfer portal is all of our biggest areas of weakness last year, we covered them up. Our running back room was a nightmare. We've gone and gotten 3 kids out of the portal. We added a 4-star running back. Our linebacking core, we had 2 linebackers last year. We go and get 2 highly touted 4-star linebackers in this year's recruiting class. We go and add the 5-star Dylan Stewart, who at one point was the #1 edge rusher. You go and get a true pass rushing edge to go with the 19 defensive tackles that we got. I mean, it's just like the little areas of weakness, we went and covered them up right away. And so I think we're going to see this South Carolina team take big gains. I still expect us to go get a backup quarterback out of the portal. I don't think that they're comfortable with Dante Reno. As excited as I am for him to be our quarterback in the 24 class, I am not excited for him to be the backup next year. I think it's Seller's job all the way around, but I think we see them go and get somebody to slide in between him and Dante Reno.
Yeah, but from what we talked about through the process, Reno was huge in the recruiting process, leading guys and keeping guys in the fold. You guys got the offensive lineman. Dylan Stewart was a huge gift. I mean, 5-star D line. You know what I'm saying? Tonka Hemingway's only got 1 more year, and you're going to need somebody to step in that. I would have liked to see Beamer hit the portal a little bit harder for the wide receivers. I know you got Jaron Brown and Jay McGowan, but outside of, Mazio being a top 300.
McGowan's isn't coming. He's going to.
Oh, he is going to flip.
He's going to flip to Boston College.
Wow.
So, but that was, NIL. Got to get that money.
Okay.
Wow. Hey, listen. I mean, from just a personal standpoint, I'm glad because my guys get to go in there and probably get one of them starting spots at wide receiver, being an ESPN top 300 player, but you're gonna need some help. I don't want him going in there getting double team. I mean, Luke Doty was playing wide receiver for y'all this year.
Luke, and that's why I mentioned the quarterback room. Beamer announced today that Luke Doty is moving to wide receiver full time next year. That he doesn't even expect him to be in the quarterback room meetings next year. He expects him to be a full-time wide receiver. I will say it is almost Christmas. I did send a little wish list to Santa Claus earlier today for one Evan Stewart. If he would like to come to Soda City, I do believe we have a uniform that would fit him with any number that he would want on it.
Don't you do that. Don't you put that devil out there. Don't you put that devil out there.
It's out there.
That response right there.
It's out there,
man. I got a quick question, bro, because like you said, similar to Arkansas, bro, South Carolina's offensive line was super trash. And what disappoints me about y'all's class is that I only see 3 offensive linemen. 6'6", 280. Josiah Thompson. Then you got Cam Pringle. And then you got Blake Franks. Y'all don't even have enough guys to put together a second unit. How do you feel about that?
So, again, yes, our offensive line was bad last year, but that included 11 injuries with 6 offensive linemen that were out for the year. So we return a lot of people that we didn't even see last year. One of which actually hit the portal today, and Jalen Nichols. He was expected to slide into the right tackle spot next year. So now I expect that to be a battle between Cam Pringle and Josiah Thompson to win that right tackle spot outright in spring as a true freshman. But other than that, you look at everybody else on the line. We're going to have 3 sophomores that started 6 or more games last year as freshmen starting. And I mean, they have to take steps forward. I mean, you can't just be like, oh, we're returning players, right? Because we weren't good last year. But you now get to see them go through spring, go through summer again, hopefully have put on a little bit more weight or muscle, and you see if they can take a step forward. And I don't think we're done. I believe we're going to go get another offensive lineman or 2 in the portal as well to add for the depth. It may not be before spring. It might be after spring when people transfer. But I do believe we'll go and get 2 more offensive linemen just to fill out the depth.
I think, like Jason said earlier, it's not a lot of premium offensive linemen, whether it be recruiting, and Kirby talked about this, definitely not in the portal. You got to believe in your offensive line coach to coach these guys up. And if you don't have a guy that can do that, regardless of what school you're at, you know what I'm saying? Like Seawalk talked about, they got Matt Luke now, but the guy prior to Matt Luke couldn't do it, you know what I'm saying? And
right,
you got to have somebody that can coach these guys up. And if you don't,
That's an interesting
quarterbacks
point,
are going to
Coach.
Because
Alabama's offensive line struggled a little bit this year too. And
Early
that's
on,
very uncharacteristic.
early on, I think they got better as the season went on, which shows that they have a competent coach. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I feel like Arkansas and South Carolina are both in the same boat. Early in the season, the offensive line might not look, the best. You got to look at the progress. If game 6 and 7 you still playing like that, then the offensive line coach might not be the guy.
Well, Cody, we fired our offensive line coach, Cody Kennedy. I think he went to South Carolina, and good luck with that.
Wow.
But
Who
we
the hell
picked
needs
up
an offensive line coach when you got your head coach is the offensive line coach, man.
Man,
right?
I don't think that Sam Pittman has the mental capacity, and there's no disrespect to Sam Pittman. I just don't think that he has the mental capacity to be able to operate as a CEO, but also step in as an interim offensive line coach at the same time.
Big facts.
Hell, he has trouble figuring out when to call timeout, bro. You know what I mean?
And I think also, man, like I love Sam Pittman, and as a position coach, he could just focus. That's all he had to do. Offensive line, like Mo said, when you're a head coach, people don't realize, man, you got a lot going on, and then also he's a nice guy. I don't think he has that let me chew you out to another grown man type deal if the offensive line coach ain't getting it done. Like you can kind of tell that from a coach. I'm not saying he doesn't get fiery in practice, but it takes a special dude to get out to another grown man to say you ain't doing your damn job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's another thing about Bobby Petrino, because Bobby Petrino is the complete opposite. Bobby Petrino will get in
for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So
for sure.
I'm interested to see what this dynamic is going to be like.
And you mentioned something about South Carolina earlier, and it was about Dante Reno, coach. And this kid may not take a meaningful snap his entire time at South Carolina. And if he stays at South Carolina for 4 years and graduates, he will go down as an icon for what he did for this 24 class. He was the first one to commit to this class. And then you look at this past summer, all 3 weekends in June, he was on campus for unofficials, for all the different cookouts and everything. And then he was at every single home football game this year to make sure that he was there when recruits were on campus. And when you have somebody like that, that's your quarterback of the future, potentially, and that's a catalyst of the recruiting class, I think it just speaks volumes to who he is as a young man and who he is as a leader, to be able to take on that role, to say, if the Gamecocks are on campus, I'm on campus because I want to lock these boys in.
Yeah, I think a lot of people miss the fact that recruits are important for different reasons. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you win a battle for a guy that's highly ranked in the state, and you may not even think he's good, but the fact that you got him and he's in your state shows other recruits in your state that people are willing to stay home. And then, like you said,
great point, Coach. A great point.
Just like Stat said, Dante Reno was one of those guys, showing up to all the games and making sure, quarterbacks kind of take that role, regardless. He's a high 4-star, regardless of whether he takes a snap. People kind of follow the leader when it comes to the quarterback. So, and sometimes you're recruiting a kid just so your rival doesn't get him, like big time,
Blake Frank.
So,
yeah,
that happens. So, that's just what it is. And, a lot of people don't really think about that. What's going on, Cody?
Yeah, we welcome old Cody from Locked On Oklahoma State to the show. Cody Light.
Man.
Hey fellas, yeah, no, I'm just enjoying the conversation and basking in what seems to be a holiday. This is the perfect way to get the holiday season kicked off, because when you wake up on National Signing Day, right, it's a little bit of trepidation, right? You're wondering if you're going to get the ones you really wanted, but you're also scared to open everything because you don't want to lose the guys that you really needed. So as an Oklahoma State fan, right, I'm not going to be able to jump up and start talking about a bunch of 5-star guys, but what I can say is every single guy that committed weeks and weeks and weeks ago, they all stayed committed. Plus, we got the late 4-star quarterback from California, and we got the TCU flip at the end. So it's a good day to be a Cowboy, buddy.
Man,
yeah,
do y'all even have a top 50 class?
Yeah, but if you're one of the top 10 winningest programs in the last dozen years, you probably should be better than recruiting in the 50s.
I think people
now
I think
hold on. Top 10 in the country in the last 10 years. Are we going to go there?
Here we
Because
go.
we both know what that
Yeah.
schedule's
Hey,
about.
hey, guess what? I know
Lord.
in Norman, Oklahoma, they have these things called stats that are real hard to keep track of. But luckily, you can Google and you can look at Oklahoma State's wins over the last decade. Yeah, we're in the top 10, Budrow, Dino.
I'm glad we're talking about recruiting because I'll let that one slide for right now. But I could destroy that. I could destroy that.
Why? Because you went to the school for kids who can't read.
Ding, ding, ding.
Hey,
Bro.
I did have a
Bro.
question for Cody.
Bro.
I've actually been living under a rock.
Number 57 is what I was going to say. Number 57 in overall rank of 64th, transfer rank of over 60, composite rank of 57. Bro, this is not good recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
I think it's time to cut that mullet.
Shout out to Michigan versus the world for jumping in the chat. I don't know if I've ever seen him before.
We shall see, gentlemen. We had the 11th ranked Big 12 recruiting class last season. We're traditionally around the 40-50 area. Now, should we be? No. When you look at the success wins wise that we've had over the last 10 to 12 years, we shouldn't be in the 50s. But you also got to take into consideration that we only have like 18 seniors, and a decent amount of them have decided to come back for a 6th year. So we're literally returning like 87% of our roster. It's not like we need an overabundance of freshmen. Plus, we're not just filling our team with a bunch of transfer guys. That is 17 high school guys, which means that we're still obviously going to make a concerted effort in the developmental department. We're going to grab some portal guys that fill some needs. But by getting 17 high school guys, I think it does prove in this transfer NIL market era that we are more than prepared to still develop and see guys in 2 years.
Yeah, I think Jason touched on something earlier with the Oklahoma class, and you said it, with the Oklahoma State class and Georgia, and I think Notre Dame too, Coach. It's in Alabama. It's when you have an uneventful signing day, that's actually good. Everybody's signing by 12. What I'm saying? It says something about when they actually came to your school, going through the recruiting process. Because even though you don't have 4 and 5 stars, it's not like somebody wasn't trying to get them. I'm pretty sure, UCF was trying to poach some of your people, or or Kansas State, Kansas, or whatever. So, I mean,
well, I know Jason wants to talk a lot of crap about the number, but we do have some guys like David Kabongo and Landon Cleveland that have offers from Bama and Texas and Michigan. So it's not like we have guys that weren't sought after. But yeah, I mean, I agree that the number's not great. But when you take in consideration bringing back, 87% of your roster and being pretty daggone young with the guys that we are bringing in, I think a couple of these guys will have the opportunity to participate in the 3 deep as freshmen. But by and large, these are dudes that we're wanting to put through the body by glass system. And another reason why the number at Oklahoma State is not always indicative of the product we put on the field is because our strength and conditioning coach. We have the only strength coach in America that gets paid $1 million, but that's because he's worth every daggone penny.
Well, somebody's got to work if Gundy's not gonna, right? Just kidding, bro. No,
how do you feel about that? I'm sorry.
No,
I was
go
going
ahead.
to ask him, how do you feel about that Arkansas game, man? I mean, it's early in the season. I think we play y'all the second week of next season. How do you feel about that game, Cody?
I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it's great for recruiting. And obviously, anytime you get the opportunity to play an SEC school, it's going to be beneficial, right? If you get the W, it's instantaneously It's a credit build, right? Let's just call it what it is. The SEC is that. Now, Sam Pittman may not have Arkansas trending exactly like they did last year, but neither is Texas Tech. Yet Joe McGuire just was able to pull off a massive class.
Big facts.
And we do lose guys to Arkansas quite often, right? Oklahoma State and Arkansas have been shifting guys back and forth for the last few years.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of commonality. This is regions that we both use as pretty fertile recruiting grounds. And anytime you have an SEC battle, it's a good thing. So I absolutely love it, man. I can't wait.
Real quick, guys.
I got a question right before I jump out of here for Cody. Do you think a lack of the Bedlam game is going to hurt in-state recruiting battles against Oklahoma?
If OU's good in the SEC, yes, I do. If OU's competing for SEC titles, yeah, I think we're not going to have a lot of opportunity at in-state guys. But if Oklahoma State is playing for Big 12 titles every year, every other year, and OU's playing for 5th or 6th place, then yeah, I do think it opens a door.
Yeah.
So I think it depends on the success of OU, really.
Big facts. So I know the number, like you said, y'all always typically around 45, 50, and I know it's lower this year, but that's not, to me, that's not alarming or whatever, because you got the behemoth Oklahoma in the same state. What I do want to know, and I don't know the history, you guys don't have any of the top 10 recruits in the state of Oklahoma, like not one. So is that normal for Oklahoma State? And that's where I would say, regardless of the class ranking, you guys got to start kind of hitting on some of the guys that are actually in Oklahoma. You see what I'm saying?
Well,
because it's not like there's a bevy of top recruits in Oklahoma.
I'm going to get a lot of kudos to Brett Venables on this one, because the last few years we have actually been able to grab a lot of the good in-state talent, because Lincoln Riley didn't really give 13 craps about in-state guys, right? Lincoln Riley, he didn't care about the Okies. Because Lincoln Riley's idea was, I'll get guys from California, Florida, and it won't matter. So he opened the door for us to capitalize, and we were able to do so, which is how we got guys like right now, and Kendall Daniels, and Nick Martin, and Colin Oliver. But obviously, Brett Venables came in and said, I'm going to stop that shit. Yeah. I'm going to make sure that I focus on getting the top guys. And he was able to do that. So hats off to Brett Venables. I think he did a phenomenal job. But again, if OU goes to the SEC next year and they flounder, I don't think OU will struggle all that much. But if they do, yeah, I think this is an opportunity for Oklahoma State in the future.
Big facts. Okay.
Anybody else got questions about that stuff?
No, I mean, the only rebuttal I have is, man, I think Oklahoma is gonna poop the bed next year, man. I mean, I can't get enough of talking about how tough that schedule is, man. I just think that it's gonna be tough.
Shout out to
I think it is tough. I think that their road schedule in particular is absolutely brutal. Real quick, let's thanks a lot, Nelio, for the super chat here. Good Wednesday, everybody. Hope everybody's 24 class is satisfactory. Look, I mean, I think to go back to what you were just saying, I think a lot of folks, you have a lot of people that have high expectations. It is Oklahoma. You have high expectations, right? When you look at this schedule coming up, yeah, it's rough when you look at, you've got road games at Auburn, who pulled off a top 10 class. You've got a road game at LSU, which is 74% all the time. I think Auburn's somewhere around 80% all time winning percentage at home. Then you've got
Alabama.
You get Alabama at home, and then you know what I mean. None of these games are going to be simple when it comes to that. You get Tennessee at home, South Carolina at home, and then most of yours are road games. When you look at Texas, on the other hand, once they're done with Georgia and Oklahoma, which is middle of the season and back-to-back weeks, they don't have much of a record of a freaking slate down the stretch. I mean, Texas A&M being a rival, I guess you could expect them to kind of put up some kind of a fight in that final game of the year. But if they split Georgia, Oklahoma, and they're not in the conference championship game, that means they have shit all over themselves. That's all there is to it, because there's no excuse for that whatsoever. Missouri, same kind of thing. That's another road game for Oklahoma. You know, at a 10-win Missouri team, I'm going to tell you right now, I think it's somewhat tough a game. I think all the crap that's coming out of there, and particularly between the teams and stuff like that, is going to cause Oklahoma to definitely perk their ears up more than they normally would for Missouri, who they win 4 out of every 5 games against. Historically, right?
Is that Ole Miss game a home game or an away game for y'all?
That's another away game against a 10-win Ole Miss team. That
they play better at home than they do on the road.
Absolutely, they have the undefeated record at home. They generally don't win their road games against anybody that's worth their salt at this point. Yep. Look, man, the one I think that I believe that I think, you know, the floor I was looking at was probably 8-4. I think 9-3, 10-2 is probably the ceiling in year one. You're starting a new quarterback. You've got, you know, a lot of young pieces still on that defense, but you know, and then it's your first year in the freaking SEC. You know what I mean? That's just all there is to it. So coming in, Oklahoma doesn't go in expecting to lose any game ever. And I think there is going to be definitely a learning curve in how you go about this conference. But I do think that when you see what you're seeing in the recruiting wise, I think that there's some guys, these young guys, that can absolutely step in and contribute in year one. I think David Stone and I think Jaden Jackson is probably ready to step in year one with his size, right? Wilkerson says, keep that OU hate going. OU plays better to haters. Yeah, listen, I think it is what it is.
You know what, man?
I would say that generally you want to say, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think OU does get to kick off the Jackson Arnold era the right way by catching an ass whooping by Big 12 Arizona, baby.
I mean, that LSU game is going to be interesting too. I want to see what Brian Kelly's going to do post Jaden Daniels. That's going to be a big key to their season next year. Who are they going to get to replace his production?
Well, in this transfer market NIL era, I don't think it's going to be an issue, right? Especially if Jaden Daniels is going to be a legitimate Heisman candidate. It's going to be kind of easy, I would imagine, to bring another quarterback in behind that. OU just had to run of doing the same thing with Lincoln Riley. Like, why would you not want to come in and do what Baker Mayfield did? Why would you not want to come in and do what Kyler Murray and Jalen Hurts did? If you can get a run of quarterbacks, I do think I'm not a big buyer in Brian Kelly, but if Jaden Daniels is as good as we think he is, then I think they'll be able to bring somebody in to try to replicate that.
And I don't think Nussmeier. I think Nussmeier doesn't get enough credit. I'm telling you, I think the dude can sling the ball. So now he can't move like Daniel. So they're gonna have to change some aspect of that offense. The running back room is definitely gonna have to contribute more than what they did. You know, Jaden Daniels leading them in rushing 2 straight years. But I think he can sling the ball. But they're still gonna probably try to get a guy out of the portal, Malachi Nelson maybe, or whatever the guy that left SC. Who knows? Stat, you got to get out of here.
Yeah, I need to head.
Thanks, man, for coming in, Stat. Hey, Stat guy, obviously always in there with Coach I on Fanatic. We appreciate you coming into the show, bud, and we'll see you on the next one.
Appreciate y'all. If I don't see y'all beforehand, everybody have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to you and yours.
You too, Stat guy.
Have a good one, man.
Yeah, hey Jason, I gotta go help decorate.
You're gonna run off now? You talked all that shit. Now you're gonna leave real quick?
Well, that's why I wanted to talk some more shit before I ran out.
Okie like Cody. Leave it to Okie like Cody to run that mouth and run.
Throwing rocks in this game.
I ain't going yet. I was just giving.
Hey, leave him alone. He's going to Google all those great teams that they've beat on their past schedules.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
all the great ones.
I don't need Google for that. I have you. All right.
Good luck with the Texas A&M going up against the SEC team too. The Little Brother Bowl coming up in just a few days.
TV timeout. Okay. If
I thought you were going to decorate.
If Texas A&M was able to field a team, that would be great. You know what's funny about that song is for you guys that are welcoming OU into the SEC, they like to play that song 733,000 times, except for
It's when we score, bro. It's just
when
score.
they're getting
That's
their
why
butt
you hear
whooped.
it about. You know what I mean? That's
Their
why you
butt
heard
whooped in Stillwater, they don't play it. So just take them behind the woodshed. You won't hear that shit.
So I got a question for the panel. To move it along. So Prime was the Portal King last year, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he said he was going to get an O-line. He went out and got some players. I don't know how good they are, but he only signed 6 people so far in recruiting. How long, before, like, I get it, you got to hit the portal because you rebuild and everything, but eventually you got to hit on some of these guys. Like, I seen some talking heads like, Prime has already rebuilt the offensive line. I'm like, but didn't he get 5 guys to come from the portal last year, for offensive line? Some of those guys are not coming from places that you deem great offensive line teams. So just
he said he was only taking so many people out of high school. So just to see the low number, I didn't think he was serious, but he was serious. I'm about to say they're going to build through the transfer portal. I believe they're going to be a lot better on the offensive line and defensive line, because that offensive line was like at an all-time.
So that's, I guess, Sharp, you just hit on it. They can't be worse, but
they can be worse.
Sharp, you just hit on it. They bringing in guys from the portal, but the offensive line that we're here talking about right now that wasn't good, they were from the portal last year. You see what I'm saying? Is those guys wasn't Colorado guys. He brought those same kind of guys in. And I'm saying, like, I think the best offensive lineman he brought in was the guy from Houston. I mean, you brought in, I'm not saying that the other guys can't be good. I'm just saying, you're replacing a bad offensive lineman that was from a Power 5 with the guy from Connecticut.
We gotta give him time, man. We this is literally, I have never seen so much coverage on a team. They really keeping up with this man ranking. And I guess I know it comes
what I'm getting to is I don't believe the offensive line coach is that good. I don't care.
Man, no argument. That's a good
point.
No argument here.
That's a good point, Coach.
And then another thing, man, I'm glad Jordan Seaton name up there. I just think Buddy is just a clout chaser. He just loves attention or whatnot. Right. He's just using Prime name to get more NIL money or whatnot. If I'm Prime, I don't care how good he is. I'll just let him go at this point, because the kid just doesn't seem like he wants to play. He was just talking like, "Oh, we here. If you want to come here."
If you're a dog, why wouldn't you come to Colorado? And then 48 hours later,
you don't show up. You haven't sent your paperwork in.
And he's crystal ball to flip to Maryland. So it's
what I don't understand, guys.
I'm sharp on that.
What I don't understand is why the composite rank is 99, but the overall rank is 21. What kind of deficit is that? Like, that's crazy.
I don't know.
Hey, that's that new Common Core math, man. Don't worry about it.
I know what it is.
They invented that shit in Norman. I promise you.
So you have a transfer rank, and right now, even though we know
Ole Miss Stillwater talking shit,
even though we know Ole Miss is winning the transfer portal, they have him ranked number 1 because he's taking basically more people. So with that number 1 ranking mixed with the composite ranking, that's the overall ranking is it's not an average, but it has to do with the composite alongside the transfer. So because he's number 1 in the transfer portal, that's why they're 21 overall.
I am sweating.
Okay.
That's my boy Kerwin. That's my boy Kerwin. He played at Prairie View A&M.
Oh man, shout out to Prairie View.
Shout out to Prairie View, man.
Beautiful stadium. Beautiful stadium.
Yeah. So I don't know. Go ahead, Coach.
I do have a funny story about Prairie View, though. When I was coaching at Midwestern State University, they had the longest losing streak in the nation.
Yeah, they did.
And we went over to play them. Guess who they broke that on? It was Midwestern State. They beat our butts that day.
That
But
sucks.
I couldn't believe I truly couldn't believe they had the longest losing streak, because you talk about some animals. They had some players, guys.
Yeah, they lost for
yeah.
a long time. Like
They did till we helped them out.
No, I think Prime. I think Prime's a good CEO, but I think some of his coaching staff could be questioned. And I know they get recruits and transfer portal guys, but you still got to be able to coach in game and develop these guys.
I think that he has a character flaw, man. That's the biggest thing I see with Deion. I think that it's a character flaw in the fact that he poses that as confidence, but it's truly arrogance, man. I mean, I'm not upset about it, but I mean, just the way I can't say that he's not confident, but there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance. And I know people who've personally met the guy, and I can tell you, man, I mean, I've heard stories about him, and he's not the most pleasant. I mean, it would make more sense to me if he was more humble. But then again, humble isn't in his vocabulary, so excuse me.
I think that's on brand is the only thing there's SEC mode. That's who he is for sure, right? I mean, I don't.
Yeah, and I think I think it is confidence because of his ability to do things at a high level. The problem comes in, I think, more so is he's now speaking for a whole university and teams, and all of those guys aren't able to live up to that kind of thing. Like Prime, he's used to that. That's just been Prime his whole life, high school, college.
That's a good point.
When we hear Prime say we coming, then we see the product on the field and we're like, Prime, you just selling wolf tickets. No, he literally believes this how he thinks. And this is why I think a lot of the greats aren't good coaches. Isaiah Thomas didn't do good in basketball at Florida International. I don't think Jordan's a great, organization owner with the Hornets. They ain't no good, it's like
clear. So coach, what you're saying is that he projects his greatness onto everybody else and expects the same result.
He expects the greatness. And I think sometimes for the great people, it may be harder to see that everybody can't be great. He don't understand why you can't do this because he can't.
He's done it. Got it.
And then it doesn't help that his son is a really good quarterback. So he's like, okay, it's not just me. And then he bring in Travis Hunter. But then you bring in these other guys, and I'm not saying you shouldn't expect greatness. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying you got to know that everybody can't bring that same level of, Deion's, come on, is arguably the best corner ever,
I don't have a diamond studded Breitling. I don't have a diamond studded Breitling, but
for me it is. For me he is, but some people will go, other people.
There's no such thing as arguably in Deion Sanders in the same sense. That man is the greatest corner to ever walk this earth.
Hey, you won't get no argument from me, dog. I'm just saying I've seen some other people, bring up other greats. I'm just saying.
And I hope they don't have a good Christmas.
But
I
tell you what he has done. He's put Colorado in the top 3 of teams watched this season. Yeah,
and he's done wonders for the economy, and it's like
$100 million in the economy.
And see, and you look at Prime. Prime is expected to be the CEO, and the guys under him are supposed to bring that high level of coaching. And I don't believe they're bringing the high level. It's not just on the players and on Prime. Now it's on Prime because he hired the guys, but he's not, in practice every day, all day with the offensive line. He has to oversee everybody. So I feel like he could do better with hiring, better staff members.
And I would say, guys, that that's one of the things that you have to look at in terms of what the hell that you got to look at it is they have to, obviously there's a learning curve there for him. He's been coaching for a few years, but I think as far as it goes with the I can't believe I'm getting a freaking call right here from my mom when she knows I'm on here. Yeah.
She was just calling to say, "Oh, you sucks."
Probably, yeah, probably.
I'm kidding, buddy.
Hey, man, it may be an emergency.
Man, that might be something important.
Yeah.
Let me check with you. Make sure everything's all right.
So, but yeah, I think, like I said, I think Prime's a great motivator, great recruiter. Again, we need to see the in-game stuff. Hey, winning 4 games after only winning 1, and building a brand new team. That was great. And I think what happened was they went 3-0, and everybody's expectations changed because nobody really outside of the Colorado fans, prime fans, really thought, oh, they got a chance to go to a bowl game, maybe go 7 or something. But then when they won 3 games straight, even though they wasn't all great teams, they was more prepared than TCU. We didn't know how bad or good TCU was at the time. We just, hey, TCU's a top 25 team. Then they beat, Nebraska. Then they beat Colorado State, and they like, we coming. I'm like, well, I guess we need to believe that they coming, and then Oregon happened, and then I think that kind of brought us all down to, reality, right?
But that's the only thing, man. Anybody that just literally watches the game, I'm a big time Deion Sanders fan, man. I just love the man. But just the simple fact that you can just watch those games and just been like, no, Oregon gonna get them. But I didn't know Oregon was just gonna blow them out like that. No, I don't think nobody expected that. But of course, when you win, you got these high expectations. You got everybody coming to Colorado and all that, and it just build up them expectations. Some folks was even I seen a dumb post where they was comparing when they were 3-0 what year is it? 2023 Colorado Buffs against the 2019 LSU Tigers. I'm like, bro, stop it. Let's stop this right now. Let's stop the madness.
That's outrageous.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They just throwing stuff out there. They want the man in year 1 to just be great. I'm like, man, they literally only won 1 game. I'm a Alabama fan. I remember when Nick Saban had his first year. That was improvement. And with we were just getting our probation. I said, man, you got to let somebody build up their program. You're not going to see nothing in year 1. He going through them growing pains. Yes, he's coming from the HBCU level or whatnot, but you got to let him build his team, learn from them growing pains, get rid of guys, let him put the right guys in the spot. He has said it best. He said, I ask these guys whatever they need, just tell me. And when I give you what you need, I expect greatness out of you. Because you asked me for this stuff. What do you need to succeed? Now, once I give it to you, I expect you to win.
That's fair.
Yeah, that is. That is. And go ahead.
The one thing I was trying to say a second ago is I think that we've seen it to where the goalposts got moved. He came in, they came in loud. They beat TCU in game 1. Nobody expected them to get a win there. And they're coming in loud and they're coming in talking shit, which it is what it is. But this is kind of how they roll. But so once they hit that, they hit 4 wins. That's a 400% freaking improvement on the year before that. And they've brought a lot of money into the program. They've brought a lot of whether or not you want to watch, whether or not you hate the dude or you love him, you're watching the games. And that's one thing is that no matter what you're either hate watching or you're watching them, because you want to see them do great.
Yep. Right.
I think that when you, as content creators, we know when we do a Colorado video, you get a lot of views there because people love it. People want to pay attention to it.
Yeah.
They want to see it. They want all the content that they can get out of Colorado. I think that did he make some mistakes? Absolutely. I think he made a mistake with Sean Lewis. I think that Sean Lewis shouldn't have brought in his offensive his offensive line coach though. But I think he made a mistake there. That being said, I think that when you pull him out of play calling duties at the end of the season like that, and Shedeur has a hell of a year, that's tough, right? But I think that there is a learning curve, and I think that there's a learning curve from, the FCS level to Power 5 football for sure, right?
Well, and again, the honeymoon's over after this year. We all know that. Next year's gonna, what kind of changes does he make to improve like the O-line and those types of things? So we'll have a better picture next year because there is that learning curve. But I'm a fan. Whether he wins or loses, I'm a fan.
Yeah, right.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I think that I want to see them play well. And I don't know that I think that I don't know that he leaves with. He's talked about not wanting to coach in the NFL because he wouldn't have any kind of control there. I think he needs to continue trying to be a CEO and get some guys that can be the coaches and let them do that part, right?
Well,
because recruiting-wise, you're going to get him to do that. Go ahead.
Selfishly, I love it, right? From a Big 12 perspective, Deion is going to move numbers. Numbers equal dollars. Brett Yormark, I think, is one of the most innovative commissioners in all of football right now. So if you can take the innovation of somebody like a Brett Yormark and you can combine that with what Deion Sanders has going, and I do think one of the beneficial things to them winning 4 games is everybody's freaking out, right? Is Prime going to turn around and leave in 1 year? I think that this solidifies. I think Deion's going to be here for at least 3 to 4 years because I think he's going to have a mission. And like it was just alluded to, highly unlikely that he goes with his boys to the NFL. It just doesn't make sense. And Colorado gave him a shot. And if he can make Colorado good and the Big 12 can continue climbing and getting more money, it's partially going to be because of Deion, which will give him more incentive to stay in Colorado, which helps the Big 12. So I all around absolutely love it.
Yeah. And the second year is typically the best, or the most improvement you see from a coach. So we'll see.
And he's got a guy that can spin it, right? That does a lot.
Got to protect him.
That does a lot in Power 5 football. If they get a blocking scheme that'll keep him upright, and I really wish he'd let him run a little bit because the kid can fly. Keep him upright and see what happens there. I think you could see a big jump going into the Big 12 because, look, he's got a few teams that he's gotten accustomed to playing in the Pac-12, but this is a new gig there. And I agree. I think that if he would recruit high school, he would do great because Texas, he is Texas. You know what I mean?
I think coming into the Big 12 also, last year, this season or this past season, I think on a consistent basis, he played better teams than he'll have week in, week out next year. Because he played at the time, USC was still doing their thing. Oregon, he played Arizona, he played Washington State. I'm like, he played some behemoths. So we'll see.
And guys, what I would say is, usually Sanders hasn't proven he can develop talent. He hadn't proven he can't either. Guys, again, I think that the goalposts moved after week 1, and the people that want to talk trash about Deion Sanders, it's easy to do that because you get your ass kicked by Oregon in that game after they were talking a lot of crap, and they didn't go win 10 games. So even though this was not a team that should have won more than 4 or 5 games, the expectation levels go up because you want a reason to take shots at the guy. I think that. Guys, it's
and I think it was already mentioned earlier by a couple of you guys. He's got to hire the guys to develop, the coaches to develop. Guys, the head coach is not the developer of talent.
Right.
He like Coach I said, he's the CEO. He's going to run the umbrella, the overall program, and he's got a lot of other things to do than to be developing talent. Now, he's got to get his guys in place that can do that. But you can't just say, I can't see him developing talent because that's not really a very good statement.
And the thing that I'm glad we keep mentioning Oregon, I don't remember them keep talking about. I have heard more about Colorado getting blown out by Oregon, but we don't talk about Dan Lanning getting blown out by Georgia.
That's a different beast, man. That's a different animal.
I'm just saying, but guess what? Dan Lanning had time to recruit
talent, though. I think it was about the same difference in talent. Whenever you start looking,
I was about to say, if you look at the talent Oregon had, versus the talent that Colorado had, even though Shedeur and Travis Hunter, if you look at the totality of it, that difference was, I think, actually a bigger gap than the talent between Oregon and Georgia.
Especially in the trenches, man. Especially in the trenches. Now, Colorado has decent skill players, but the trenches, man, they just can't hold up.
Exactly. And Oregon actually had guys in the trenches. So, I mean, that's a good point, Sharp, and they had 2 5-star linebackers. I mean, you had Justin Flo and Noah Sewell, you know. So, and it's like they had guys on the offensive line. So yeah, you're right. You're right, Sharp.
Yeah, because I'm just getting tired of them just talking about this Oregon thing. I'm like, bro, we ain't gonna talk about Georgia just dragging them.
Hey,
I'm like, man,
not
that
to
feels
go
like a rag dog.
Listen, not to go too far off, but we can talk about this on another show. But Dan Lannon actually doesn't have any. Dan Lannon actually doesn't have any signature wins.
He doesn't. Hey, look, they didn't beat the top 25 team.
I like Dan Lannon. Don't get me wrong. I like Dan Lannon. So
they didn't beat the top 25 team.
You're right.
You know, by the time it's all said and done, they didn't have a top 25 team that they.
Yeah, I mean they went to Utah, which is where Utah doesn't lose.
They got a good program. I think that he's doing a good job, but
yeah,
I think that he blew the first game against Washington for damn sure.
Oh yeah,
you know,
Cody's got to go decorate that tree.
Cody, we got to let you get out of here. Go decorate.
He's getting that eye right now. I can see it.
I see it.
Say get up right now.
Yeah, he's getting an eye right now.
Hey, go get them orange balls on that tree.
You know I got them. You know I got them. Hey, we're gonna go sing a little Mason Rudolph song and have a good time.
Mason Rudolph.
Enjoy it, brother.
All right, y'all.
Hey man, we love you, Cody. We'll talk to you soon, brother.
God bless you, man.
God bless. Go Pokes. Thank you, fellas.
Hey, Cody was full of piss and vinegar today, wasn't he?
He generally is. Ever since the Bedlam game, he's been that way.
Hey,
so,
listen, he can hold that. He's gonna be able to hold that over your head for a minute.
No,
I'm ready to talk to him.
Jason does not like that, man. I literally seen him.
Listen, we talked about it on another show, dog. Y'all already know that Gundy gonna avoid that matchup unless y'all get.
I want to link up with Cody when Arkansas plays Oklahoma State. I want to link up with Cody, man.
Oh yeah,
he's
dog.
Good, man. He's a good guy, man. He's you should definitely should on that. Yeah, man, and actually, he's going to be around Dallas quite a bit. So if that's where you are,
I'm in Dallas.
He's doing some new stuff with, and I meant to have him talk about that. It's called 7 on 11. It's a lot of camps and stuff, and doing some evaluation and stuff like that. He played a little college football too himself. So
okay.
So he's doing it. It's with Stephon Boogie Johnson's dad that he's doing some work with. So. It looks like he's going to be doing some of that kind of moving forward. So you might be able to catch up with him out there, but we'll get you guys in touch. Since we're talking trash about coaches,
here we go
to USC. Let's go talk some USC.
I would never have thought you were going to bring
in what? Say it ain't so, coach.
Well, you were just licking your chops about this one, boy. Like, oh yeah,
fellas, it's been a freaking free fall for old Lincoln Riley, and as far as his reputation is concerned, and I'm here for it. I got to tell you, I'm here for it. I got told I was crazy for knowing what was up for a long time, and look, man, I had them going 8-4. They did me one better and went 7-5, and they are just hemorrhaging players into the portal, and flips are happening quite a bit as well, man. So what are your guys' thoughts about that? You know what? I'll just go ahead and start with you, Mo. You were talking a little bit about Coach Prime. What are your thoughts about Lincoln Riley at this point?
I think it's a similar situation, man. I think pride comes before the fall, man. I think that Lincoln Riley built himself a persona at OU and thought that he could take that same persona to USC, which is a bigger market, bigger opportunity to get players. But I mean, when you look at what happened last season, they lost big game after big game, and then it all ended with Caleb Williams jumping into the stands, crying his eyes out because he didn't perform. Just to look at where USC is, man, 20 overall rank in the nation as far as their overall. And then composite rank of 18, you would think that they would be able to pull in a few 5 stars. I mean, traditionally, USC is pulling in at least 1 or 2 5 stars annually, but it's just a class full of 4 stars, man. And I mean, I think that it's a similar situation with Prime, man. I think the pride coming before the fall with Lincoln Riley, man, and I think he's about to fall.
Yeah, I agree with Mo, man, and I mean, I think some of that luster is kind of falling off the the old golden parachute type deal. You got listen, you got he had the Heisman winners, and he takes Caleb with him, and then everybody watches it. And now you got Malachi Nelson, another 5-star, just leaving a guy that is known as the quarterback whisperer, so to say. He came in last year and had the 8th ranked composite class, and this year he's got the 18th. Like Mo said, with no 5-stars. Like, this is USC we talking about, dog. Like, if nothing else, you get a 5-star or 2 from the state of California just based off of the colors alone. You know, so
the USC brand is huge.
Yeah, and I'll say the same thing, like you said, like Mo said, it's kind of the same situation. I don't know if he's as good a CEO as Prime, but they got the same issue. They got some guys up under them that just can't coach. And at the end of the day, that falls on them. He replaced finally, after years and years, finally replaced Grinch. We'll see what the new guy got. But as soon as he replaced Grinch, he lost one of his best recruiters, if not his best recruiter, in the DB coach that just went to Georgia.
That's right.
And then you lost Damani Jackson into the portal, a former 5-star DB. You losing recruiting battles. I don't know, man. Maybe it ain't always I don't know. Maybe it never rains in Southern California, is what Tony said. But
and then
it looks like it's raining.
He has one 4-star, and that's not a composite. He has nothing but 3 stars coming in. So that's a puzzling situation at USC, man, especially with them coming into the Big Ten. It's not going to be rainbows and sunshine in that Big Ten either, man. That's going to be a tough conference, and I don't know if Lincoln Riley is going to have what it takes to last.
Well, and here's the thing and Coach, I want to pass this to you, because we've talked about this a bunch over the course of this year, is that when Mike Leach passed away this past year, where was it? All his mentors are now gone, right? Because you're not going to be able to lean on Bob Stoops because of the way that you left Oklahoma, and so, and then you're not going to be able and now Mike Stoops and look, as much as is now with Mike Leach being gone, who you got left? Ruffin McNeil. And Ruffin wasn't really a head coach for very long and successful enough to tell you how to navigate those waters at a true blue blood, expectations high place like USC. It's not conference championships aren't enough. You got to beat Notre Dame almost every year. You've got to, and you need to be playing for national championships if you're at USC, or it's not going to cut it very long. It's the same thing in Oklahoma. It's the same thing in places like Alabama and Texas. They don't mess around with stuff like that at places like this. My feeling is that he don't know what to do. And every time you turn around, okay, he gets rid of Grinch, but he hasn't gotten rid of Benny Wiley, who in Oklahoma we lovingly call Tybo Benny or the yoga instructor. One of the two. They got smaller last year. They were less strong. I was hoping USCJ was going to come in here and to talk about some of this. I have a feeling I understand why. But because he knows, and I like USCJ, man. I think he'll tell it like it is. He will tell it like it is when it comes to USC. But I tell you, I don't think that he has an idea of what he's doing, Coach. I think that he's struggling to find his footing, and then he gets in his own damn way by refusing to give Jim Leonhard carte blanche to hire whoever the hell you want.
Well, he better find some footing fast, because like Mo said, that schedule in the Big Ten, he starts out with LSU in Vegas. He also plays at Michigan. He plays at Washington. He plays at UCLA. He plays Notre Dame at home. He plays Penn State at home. He plays Wisconsin at home. Like, bro, it doesn't. You got Utah State and Maryland and Rutgers, but outside of that, if Matt Rule is who we think he is, that game ain't gonna be no gimme. So schedule, this schedule, it ain't Florida, but it's peeking around the corner at Florida's hard schedule. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So they got a couple of breaks in there, but honestly, if he don't get it together and they play like they played this year, where they're all offense, no defense, it could be another 7-5. And like you said, I don't see USC
get worse.
the Trojans going for, like, I think he's going to get a pass. A lot of these teams that's moving conferences, they get passes for the first year. Not passes like you can only win 5 games, but passes like 7-5, 8-4 type deal. But 2 years of that, USC's they're not going for that.
That's what I was about to say, man. A 7-5 is not going to become the norm at USC. So we'll see how it turns out, man. But
guys, I think we all know. I think we can all grab a bag of popcorn and we kind of all know where this movie's headed, and it's not good.
Yeah, and the recruiting at 18. Listen, when you're not winning, you got to be recruiting. You know, you got to show us something that we're investing.
You're screwed all the way.
That's the great equalizer, man. And especially if you're losing.
There's different goals for different schools, and USC is one of those schools where you top 15. If not, that's a decent schedule, but you're looking to be top 10. So if you can't promise me a top 15 to top 10 class, and you can't promise me 9 wins, that house gonna get sold, or the plane gonna get taken back, or something, bro. Like, I mean,
South Carolina doesn't have the same expectations as we do at Georgia or Oklahoma or something like that. USC does.
Yeah. No, they do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man.
Guys, do you think he maybe waits around here a little bit and maybe would even consider going to the NFL as a quarterback's coach?
Listen, I'm gonna be honest.
That'll be his only out.
For performance purposes only. I told Jason this a couple weeks ago. I think he is an OC at best. I think he's an OC.
Yeah. And
I think if he went to the NFL as an OC or quarterbacks coach, performance-wise, I think he'd do great. As a CEO, as a CEO, head coach, he could score a lot of points, but what does that mean? I mean,
and I guess my point was, I think early on his stock was high enough that he might have pulled a Kingsbury and gone in as a head coach, especially with having an elite quarterback. I think his stock was on the borderline of that, but now I think that's dropped, and now it's going to be, a quarterback coach, and so. Do you think what I'm asking is, do you think he sees the writing on the wall and tries to get the hell out of there?
I think if the season next year goes like we're talking about, I think he is intelligent enough to see that. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like Jason told us about things going on behind the scenes at Oklahoma.
Right.
Regardless of how he left
Oklahoma, though, he didn't have the same kind of runway to freaking run out of in LA. He had 17 years of recruiting machine running the way that it was supposed to run before he got to, before he took over at Oklahoma. It was a ready-made football team.
But what I was saying is, you told us about some things going on behind the scenes that he saw, that's why he kind of bolted the way he did.
That's right.
That's regardless of what we want to say about him, that's intelligent.
In Oklahoma.
That's intelligence.
That's what I was getting at.
That's intelligence. Like, hey, man, let me jump on this next boat while I can. I think what happened is, like Jason said also about the Big 12 the last 10 years or so, it hasn't been strong. And he benefited from a weak conference and a really elite offense. But then he went to a conference that also had elite offenses, and played some semblance of defense. Now he's going to a conference that plays physical in the trenches football. Yeah. And he doesn't recruit to physical in the trenches football. So it's
you know what, man? I was having this conversation on our show yesterday, man, on the SEC Weekly. The thing about the Big Ten and teams like Wisconsin, man, they always have giants in the trenches, but they don't ever have skill position players. Now, USC is the complete opposite. They have a bunch of skill players, but nothing in the trenches, just like you, Colorado. Man, it's gonna be interesting, man.
But I'm gonna tell you, man, and me and Jason was talking about this also for like the other night. I think we was doing it on the schedule. We was talking about when you go to a conference that plays physical football, and Sharp was on the call. Like, when you go to a conference that plays physical football, you can do with a mediocre wide receiver. You can do with a mediocre running back. You might be able to get away with an average quarterback, but what you can't get away with is average trench play. I don't care what your outsides look like. Like, and then you be wondering why Wisconsin is beating them 35-17 because they just can't handle the trenches, you know.
Trenches.
So
yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, think about how, like, I mean, again, I thought Colorado's offense was, you know, definitely one of the better ones, you know, especially at the beginning of the season. But look how when Nebraska came in, it was a physical game in the first half, and Nebraska was trash, you know, but they had enough offense to win. But if you have to do that week in, week out, and USC is not equipped to do that week in, week out, even against like Minnesota, they got to go to Minnesota. You know how physical those dudes play? Like, and they're not even a great team. But you know, you play Wisconsin, you play at Michigan, you play Wisconsin, and you play at Minnesota and Penn State back to back to back with no bye. Like, you talking about trenches. Like, don't be surprised if you say, hey man, we down 2 offensive linemen, you know, we got a couple of D linemen out. Like, I'm telling you, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
You ain't told no lie.
Hey, you're talking about Kalen DeBoer only getting started. Hey, imagine that. They could have had Kalen DeBoer at USC.
He wasn't the pretty eye candy. Like you said, he had that runway. He had those. Listen, man. He had these elite offenses. He had, you know, back-to-back Heisman guys. Another guy that finished in the top, you know, 3 for the Heisman, sending guys first picks in the NFL draft. He was the eye candy. You know what I'm saying?
But he never really had to develop anybody but Caleb Williams because he was getting transfer guys every year, right?
Yep.
Right.
Baker was a transfer guy.
Point.
Kyler was a transfer guy. The only guys that he brought in himself and they had any kind of success was Spencer Rattler, which was limited, and then Caleb Williams, which also was limited. Even though he won the Heisman Trophy, I think that most people would tell you that he regrets this year. I mean, the guy was running around for his life, and I don't even know.
I was just about to say that.
If you are that good, you would be. Hey, let's give Caleb some easy throws where you hit that third step and the ball's coming out. We're not running around in the backfield trying to hit nothing but deep balls. But you didn't see that, right?
Yeah, and I think you're right.
Helped him out.
I think the regression was
running backs, and they never used him either, which was weird.
What some of the regression was offensive line and play calling. You know what I'm saying? It's like they had talent on the outside. They had, like you said, Marshawn Lloyd, who was healthy for the first time in his college career and literally averaging 8 to 9 yards a carry, not just breaking off 60-yard runs to build up the average. But they wouldn't give him the ball when they were up, you know, 2 or 3 touchdowns. And then, you know, they didn't have – it seemed like Caleb had to hold the ball too long, knowing they couldn't block for him like they needed to. Like, the dude's always picking himself up off the ground. And that leads to regression. I mean, look at some of those Florida State quarterbacks in these past couple of years. Not Jordan Travis, but, I mean, the guy before him, the little skinny guy, I forget what his name is. He was actually a pretty decent guy, man. And, you know, they couldn't block for the guy. So then he ends up not looking good because DJ at Clemson, his first year starting, they couldn't block for DJ. Like, you know, he was getting sacked every year, but you put him behind the line who can actually block and put him in the right system, call the right plays, and you help a guy out. So I think Lincoln's got a lot to correct going into the Big Ten, man. A lot to correct.
And that brings me to a point here or a question for you guys. As y'all well know, we you know, our defense or our offense coordinator is going to Troy as the head coach. That leaves our vacancy for an offense coordinator. Give me some thoughts from you guys on some people you think that Marcus ought to go after.
I think
I like Brennan Marion.
Yeah, I like Georgia's wide receiver coach.
Okay.
I'm high on Brennan Marion, bro.
Dude, Marion's
that go-go offense. Man. That go-go offense, just the pedigree he comes from, man. You ever heard the term got it out the mud? Brennan Marion got it out the mud, sir. I think that his approach to the game is because he went without, and even the JUCO team that he was on, they didn't even have a head coach, so he had to take over and organize practices and all types of stuff for that team, and that's actually how he started coaching. But I think that the variation of the go-go offense and the marriage that he's made with the triple option is going to I won't necessarily say revolutionize the game, but it's definitely going to add an interesting wrinkle moving forward as that offense gains steam.
Yeah, and I think because you're Notre Dame, you could actually go to some P5s and take their OC. I think not good teams, but good offenses, Maryland and Rutgers. Either one of those OCs, especially like Rutgers, I think their OC is really good. He just don't have the talent, so he can't put together back-to-back years of really good offense. But I think he's shown what he can do. But Brian McClendon, I don't want to lose him as a wide receiver coach, but he's bound to be somebody's OC soon. He was the passing game coordinator when Cristobal was at Oregon. I know people like to point at his time in South Carolina, but under Muschamp, I'm telling you, as a Georgia guy, Muschamp's kind of like he's that defensive guy that's going to kind of put a clamp on his offense, because if you play complementary football, sometimes you can like, we're not going for it, or let's just run the ball here so we don't turn it over, because you want your defense to be in a better position type of deal. But I think he's an up and comer. So I think you guys, and I think Freeman's a good, I think he's like a guy you want to work for. He seems like a likable dude,
Well, and he does. He does seem that way.
Like
I know one of the guys that supposedly, is coming out of there that Marcus is reaching out to is the OC at LSU, Mike Denbrock.
Yeah.
I don't know that we could get him. I mean, he's been at Notre Dame before, and is originally from that area. And he's a guy that's been around a long time. And so, but I know his pay is, and here's the thing, and you guys know this, last time we didn't pay the money to hire somebody. I don't think they can afford to do that again. Literally, they're going to have to pay some money to go get somebody.
They are.
So you're saying they don't have that Texas A&M oil money, huh?
They do.
Oh, they
got
got more than.
I was about to say they're
A&M.
just choosing not to spend it, is what Coach is saying. So, Jason, okay, go ahead, Coach.
No, I was just going to say I'm sure that with the new coordinator or the new athletic director already in there doing some work, I think this could be a telltale sign of how things are going to look athletically from the new athletic director and the new president that's coming in.
Yeah, Jason, I think you put in the chat the Liberty OC. He is a good OC, but
yes.
unfortunately, that's a package deal. Jamie Chadwell is the coach that came from Coastal Carolina. He takes his staff with him. Like
Washington, Oklahoma, or the Washington OC is hot, right?
But he's another one. He's been with the board the whole time. Yeah.
Oh, what's his name, man?
I forget what his name is, but he follows DeBoer, wherever he goes.
But I think if you're DeBoer, you have to be pushing him to go get a head coaching job at some point, right? I mean,
not necessarily. I mean, Frank Beamer never pushed Bud Foster out the door.
True enough.
That's true.
Hey, listen, man, you gotta think, man, your livelihood depends on you winning jobs. So if a coach tells you he wants to stay with you until whenever, you like, cool.
Yeah, post up, man.
It's Ryan Grubb. It's Ryan Grubb is who we're talking about, by the way.
There you go. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, and the Denbrock deal too is, Marcus and him coached together at Cincinnati, along with the receivers coach they just hired. They all coached together at Cincinnati. So there's and that's one thing I've noticed about Marcus. And I think we're all that way to some extent as head coaches. We like to bring those guys with us that we know and we've been with before. Yeah, there's that trust factor. Exactly. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting, but it's going to be an important hire for us.
Yeah. So
but thanks for y'all's input.
It's been 3 hours, dog. I'm gonna have to get up.
It has been plenty of time here to talk, and kind of.
I enjoyed myself, man. I haven't been on this long with Coach I in a long time.
I'm glad you hung out with us this whole time, and Brinsky, you too, man. You guys are, hey, marathon runners with us, man. And this is how we kind of roll. To be honest with you, this is just kind of the way we roll a lot of times. But look, guys, I want to run around the whole deal here and have everybody tell us how to find you on social media and your shows. Again, SEC Mode, thanks a lot for coming in, Brinsky. We love having you in here as well, and getting all you guys' opinions. I feel like again, this is kind of early Christmas for a lot of us guys. With signing day is a great day, man. Good times, right?
Yeah,
We'll
absolutely.
start with Brinsky. Let us know how to find your program and go to Coach. Obviously, you can find him here, but then we'll go to SEC.
Well, I'm Brinsky Sharp of the Sharpshooters Podcast. We drop every Wednesday, which is today, and we drop a video. We drop every Wednesday. We talk about some of everything: college football, NBA, NFL, even some culture stuff. Talk about some of everything. But I love jumping on here, talking college football with my guys always. Shout out to Jason. Shout out to Coach for always showing love. Appreciate y'all, and make sure y'all all subscribe to all these gentlemen channels.
Big facts.
Appreciate you, brother.
Hey, before I go, Brinsky, your show today, I saw the thumbnail. It was about NBA.
No, man, not today.
Okay. I saw Ja Morant. I saw Ja Morant. So
man, it just so happened, man, when we was podding, and then I looked at my phone like, man, damn, Ja made the game-winning shot.
Yeah. Suspension over, baby.
Hot.
And the whole point was to say, welcome back, Ja Morant. But I was like, I forgot to say that. So that was just like a little welcome back.
Well, every other Wednesday, where to find me every week on the Fan Addict. Jason's over there pretty much weekly, and I'm over here weekly. But the Fan Addict on YouTube, Facebook, IG, Twitter, X, whatever we're calling it, all of that. But I was gonna say that, Brinsky, because on Wednesdays, every other Wednesday, I do an NBA show, and I saw Ja Morant. I was like, man, I'm gonna have to talk to my boy Brinsky about some NBA, man. So checking buckets, that's right, checking buckets. We talk all basketball on Wednesday.
I would definitely come on that.
Yeah. So, but y'all know where to find me, man. So I appreciate Jason for me and him co-hosting this thing tonight, man. I feel like it's a good show, man. Good guests, good audience. Glad my guy Mo came out, man, and I'll pass the mic over to you, dog.
Yeah, absolutely.
We definitely want to appreciate it, you, bro. As we get into
Absolutely.
this SEC thing, man, we want to continue working with SEC guys, man. I've enjoyed working with Brinsky a lot, and yeah, man, I've enjoyed your show lately too. So
thank you, man. Thank you, bro.
Some of you guys stuff. So you guys make sure to get over there and check out SEC Mo for sure. You can. Hey guys, we are really, really close to 3,000 subs on this channel.
I need 2 subs, people. 2 of y'all in this chat right now. Karen, Terry, go sub. Dog.
I don't know how many subs. How many subs you need before you hit 3,000?
I need 78 the last time I checked.
2 to 2,000. I need 2 for 2,000.
2 for 2,000 for Coach I. So let's say, guys, if you guys aren't already
subscribed
to Coach I's and you've been in here, get in there and take care of that, guys.
Absolutely.
Please share us again. Share us again. Keep us there. We would love to get to that 3,000 spot by Christmas, which is only a few days away. So that would be a great Christmas gift for us. And please do that. Same with everybody. Get out there and sub to everybody's channel, though, man. It's so important for us content creators. It helps us. If you just hit the like button is the biggest thing. Coach I was also streaming this on his channel. Jump over there, make sure you hit the like there as well. And sub if you're not already there, guys. Same thing with SEC Mo and with the Sharpshooter podcast, man. It's
absolutely. Let's get sharp to 1,000, baby.
Man, and then I was just about to talk about you. I said, man, it must be nice to just talk about, give me the I just need 2 to get a
man.
We've been where you are. Think
about where we like the SEC Weekly. The SEC Weekly, man, we're trying to get to 200 subs. So like we're fresh. We're babies. But
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, man. But like y'all can follow me at
about a year and a half almost.
yeah. I mean, y'all can follow me on Twitter.
Baby. I love the grind.
SEC Weekly Mo. Like I said, man. Also the Hog Wild podcast. I haven't recorded in a while, but it's coming. I promise you, the Hog Wild podcast is coming back strong. I've been working with my brothers at the Woo Pig podcast, but right now you can find me at the SEC Weekly on YouTube, the SEC Weekly Mo on Twitter, and the SEC Weekly on Twitter.
I think appreciate. Shout out to
Shout out to the crowd for getting me to 2,000. You guys are the
all
best.
right. Good job, Coach I.
There
you know what, Jason? I remember exactly the time we hit our 2,000. You remember?
I do.
We were at the Big 12
It was
media
during the
days,
show, actually.
and we were in the swimming pool at the hotel when we hit 2,000.
Yeah, that's right. That was good times, man. We had a good time at Big 12 Media Days. We are going to be meeting up. We're trying to get out to Dallas for SEC Media Days this year.
It's in Dallas?
Yes, in Dallas. They moved it from Bama, dog. Yeah.
I'm excited about that. I'll host.
Yeah, but we're trying to me and Jason trying to get together a content creator meetup for during the time. It's always Monday through Friday, but maybe we'll do something like, if you can't come in, but Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever it is for your team or whatever. But just trying to do that and maybe go live. And I mean, who knows? I mean, all they can do is tell us no, but try to get some credentials. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Congratulations on that 2,000.
Appreciate you, man.
I just need 70 to get 300. So let's get it there.
Well,
that's right.
Let's get it.
That first 1,000 or even the first 500 is really I'm gonna keep it takes forever. And every time you hit a milestone, it goes a little faster, guys. And
I'm gonna tell y'all for real. When I started in 2021, it wasn't like now where they give you an @ symbol, like a @ name or whatever. You had to actually have 100 subs to change your name from these 16 character alphanumeric whatever.
Wow.
So when I hit 100, listen, when I hit 100, I call my wife at work. I was like, I hit 100, I can change my name.
Yep, Hall of Fame Mafia is always there to help out. Hey, man, this is the beauty of our show is that we have great guests all the time. I mean, we enjoy doing it. Coach and I that's been our thing is that we want to have amazing creators, amazing guests on at all times because we just like to talk ball. And so the Mafia loves it, man. They enjoy our the way that we do things here, and so I'm excited, man, about what's going to happen moving forward. But thanks a lot, everybody, for coming in here again. So I guess let's see. Anybody else need to we're gonna head on out of here for now. I'm gonna probably jump back on for another live here in a few minutes, but I don't want to make it part of the recruiting deal. But we do need to talk a little bit about the Caden Green stuff. But so come back and check me out here in a few minutes. And you might
want to let it go to 3 hours exactly.
Yeah, it's going to be a minute.
I know what I was thinking you were doing. I say, man, you might go there.
I got some shit to say, but
But just make sure y'all let me know whenever y'all want me to come and join, man. I'll definitely do my best.
Absolutely, sure. In fact,
I'm under the weather too, so
we'll start popping the links into. We'll get you in our group chat that we have on Twitter. That way, you just know whenever we're going, and you can pop in whenever you want.
That works. That works.
Good stuff, man. Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you for everybody, all you guys that are in the chat. Thanks for coming in and sticking with us for all this amount of time. We appreciate that. And I don't know where these balloons just came from, but thank you. I will see everybody here in just a few minutes, but I do want to wish a Merry Christmas to everybody and tell everybody thank you for the amazing year that we have had as a show. And we'll definitely see you guys on the next one.
That's right. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Diwali to my girl Hina, our own campus correspondent for Respected Heads. Hey,
Merry New Year.
Merry New Year.
Merry New Year.
Good stuff.
Hey,
have a good one, fellas.
Later, guys.